Okay, so I was going to continue the alien character modeling tutorial, but I've kind of had some problems with the max files, so I've basically lost that. But I also did notice that there wasn't as much interest in the alien model as, say, the house modeling. So just it doesn't really matter, I guess. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a normal character, and so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to follow a basically I'm going to follow a reference just so it's more efficient to model. Because when I was making the cat the alien, it was more just sort of what looked good, and I'd tweak things and see what if it didn't look good, then I'd change it and back and forth and whatever. And really, because I was winging it, it was really inefficient, and especially to show people. And so, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to go to theblueprints.com. So the-blueprints.com. I'll be sure to add a link. And what we're just going to search for male. Now, I happen to have been and looked, and so what I want to do is scroll down to humans, and I'm pretty sure it's this first one here. Yep, that's what we're after. So what we're going to do is save that. We'll just go desktop. It's just mail.jpg. So that's downloaded. What we're going to do is maximize viewport. So we'll go front first. And let's just change the unit setup quickly. Alright, so we hit M for the materials editor. I'm going to go maps, diffuse, and I want to go bitmap. Go desktop, and we want male. Now what I actually previously did was I flipped it so that the side view, if you can actually see that, no, I don't think I can scale that up at all. What I actually did was I flipped the side view so that when I hit the left, when I look at him from the left hand side, he'll be facing forward rather than facing backwards. So I'll just actually show you. So I'll copy that one over. And this one was so that's what I changed it to, and that's what it was. So I just flipped this guy around, and I'll just quickly get the dimensions. Okay, so it's 669 wide by 462, and we'll make that one width and height segment. Now that we've got the aspect ratio right, we can just scale that down a bit. So that looks okay. And now what I'm going to do is perspective view. I'm going to move this back, and I'm going to try and center him as much as I can. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. Angle snap toggle. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to try and center him on the y-axis. So now that looks alright, we'll move that aside, and what we'll do is we'll select them both, object properties, and we'll untick show frozen in grey, and then we'll freeze it. So now we can't accidentally select it while we're modeling. And now what I'm going to do is create just a cylinder. Size does not matter. And we're going to give it 8 sides. So now what we're going to do is zoom in. If we go Control X, then we'll make that partially transparent, which is what we're after, and we're going to go and convert that to an editable poly. So now it's just a matter of, in fact, so what I'm doing is I'm selecting everything and I'm deselecting these sides. So I'm only selecting the top and the bottom. I'm going to delete that, and this is what I'm going to make my character with. Don't want to rotate from orthographic view. So now all I'm just going to do is just move all the verts, move and scale, and just make everything line up with the actual outline of the character's leg. And you also want to make it sort of slight angle up at the pelvis, because that's kind of the actual socket for the actual femur is about here. So everything's going to move from here. It's not going to sort of move straight down from there, but that'll be easy to show you once I start rigging. But this is just something to keep in mind. And another great thing is if you select by border, then you can select that very easily. You can just hold shift and move it down. And in fact, we'll align to the Z-axis, and that should be okay for now. Now I'm just going to do this really quickly, so I'm going to grab this and move it down, and it just needs to roughly sort of line up, and we can tweak it afterwards, just eyeballing it. Alright, so that's basically one leg from the front view. Now we'll go side view, and what we'll do is we have to make all of these loops line up. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to grab everything and move it across. In fact, we'll just scale it down a whole lot. Now what we can do is this side here, this bottom bit here, it's fairly easy to work out where it needs to be. But as we go up, I sort of rotate and stuff, so actually it's not going to be a problem. But what I was going to suggest was, if you just select two verts from the thing and you just go loop, it selects the whole loop. But fortunately it looks okay. And if you zoom in too much, it does get a bit blurry, so don't get too close. And that's what I want. That kind of looks like a leg already. But the calf looks like it's coming out a little bit. So we'll scale the back part in just a little bit. And we'll just give it all a smoothing group of 1. That's what we want. So if I do a symmetry modifier, and we flip it on the x-axis, it's already starting to look good. What we do want to do is move the mirror, and we wanted to put it to 0 on the y-axis. And so that's we're at 9.5 minutes, but that's basically the legs. I should have enough time to join it up. So we've got symmetry there. What we want to do is, until we join it up, if we click show end result, I'm going to grab this and move it up. And what we also want to do is rotate it. Maybe one more edge loop in there, but we'll see. Bugger it, we'll do that now. And connect. And we'll just bring this out a little bit. So the waist sort of, there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse all, so that now that's all one object under the editable poly, so it's not actually mirrored anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge just these edges. I'm going to bridge it with, this thing's not going to show up, I can tell. So I'll just hit print screen now, and I'll flash up what I'm doing. So basically, there's a bunch of options here, and I've gone to 2 segments, and I'm just going to hit OK. So you can see it's split down 2 segments rather than a single polygon to go across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these verts, and just bring it in a bit. That's kind of the crotch. We'll make it we'll shape it a little bit better once we've got the rest of the torso built. But you can start to see where I'm getting at from here. And we're just after 12 minutes, so I better stop it there, and I'll continue on in a minute.